Hello folks, my name is Mark and this is Why I Hate the World. How you guys doing? And this is Things I Do Not Care About for June 2016. So let's jump right into it. Let's see, first number one, kid falls into a gorilla pit and the zookeepers shoot the gorilla to get him out. And this is causing like a big stink up on social media. Yeah, you know, that sucks. I mean, they shouldn't have to like shoot the gorilla. I mean, I don't know why they couldn't have just like, used tranquilizer darts or something like that, but well, these things happen. I mean, build the fences a little bit larger around the gorilla pits and you wouldn't have people falling in them. What else? How about some Donald Trump news? Kim Jong Un likes Donald Trump and has endorsed him for president. Yeah, that fits kind of rather well. I mean, I think, one insane dictator can recognize another one. That's funny. More Trump news. He was recently on the news crying like a little baby when reporters were asking him about his Trump University scandal. And he had a very adversarial tone against the reporters, calling them slime and, trash, gutter trash and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, I mean, if this guy can't even answer questions, I mean, that's the thing, like, when you're the president, like, every single thing you do is going to be scrutinized. And it's like, look at how this guy is handling just even a minor scandal like this. I mean, it's minor in the sense that, there was no, like, legal wrongdoing. You know what I mean? Like, in this, like, what he did was legal. It was just unethical and scummy. And he just basically ripped people off, but he didn't break any laws, so, like, look how he handles this, and it's like, well, fuck, dude, if you can't even handle, like, a lawsuit, with dignity, if you can't, like, talk about it like you're a fucking adult, like, how do you expect him to, like, handle running the fucking government? I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. And not only that, like, apparently he called so there was a judge that decided to unseal the records, and he, like, attacked him, and said that, called him Mexican, right, which the judge wasn't Mexican, he's from Indiana, and said that he has a bias towards Trump because of his Latino heritage or whatever, and it's like, wow, as if you needed any more evidence to show that Trump is a racist piece of shit. A little bit about Trump. Apparently there was this asshole Trump supporter who runs a tow truck car company, and apparently God told him not to help a woman, like not to tow the car of a woman because she had a Bernie sticker on her car. And it's like, I just don't understand, like how ridiculous and retarded can you possibly fucking get? God told you not to help this woman? I mean, that's just, I don't know, I'm kind of speechless about that, because it's like, like, why is it that, like, whenever people say God tells them to do things, it's always like bad, mean shit, it's either like something like, well, God says that I can't support gay marriage, or God says I had to, like, vote against fucking welfare, or it's something like really crazy, like, God says I had to murder, like, my entire family and shit like that. Now, how come God is never telling people to do things that are, like, nice, like, God's never telling people to go help homeless people, or to, like, do shit like that, or go plant a tree, or go, like, fucking, donate all your money to, like, to, like, some charity or something. It's always, like, bad shit, number one. And how come God is always telling people to do things that happen to line up with their particular political beliefs? That's another thing, too. It's just such fucking bullshit. And it just kind of goes to show, like, conservatives in this country are just so fucking wacky and, like, oh my God. Ridiculous. I mean, I really, really doubt that, if there's an almighty, that he's going to be wasting his time telling people who and who not to, like, tow, based on their fucking bumper stickers. It's retarded. All right, let's move on. Let's see, more politics. George Zimmerman is auctioning off the gun he used to kill Trayvon Martin with. Wow. Unfucking real. And then also he came out and said that his parents didn't raise him right. And it's like, how is this piece of shit even in the news? Like, that's just, you know what he is? He's a piece of shit. That's just all that really is to it. he fucking kills somebody and gets off scot-free and then causes all this problems afterwards. And now he's like profiting off of it. There ought to be a law against that kind of thing. There ought to be a law saying that you shouldn't be allowed to sell items used to kill somebody, you know. That's, or something. I mean, I don't know. Fucking George, if there's anybody on this earth who, like, deserves to just get fucking cancer and die, it's George Zimmerman. It's just, it's despicable, is what it is. Like, he's probably, like, I don't know. I mean, him and, like, I can't, I'm kind of at a loss for words over that, because that's just the most asshole-ish, childish, despicable fucking thing that, like, I've ever heard anybody do. And I hope that, you know, a meteor falls out of the sky and just fucking kills him. That's what I hope. Alright, now, you know, I hope it doesn't kill him. I hope it just, like, cripples him really bad, so he has to spend the rest of his life, like, hooked up to a machine and, like, can't move. And then I hope he gets a real bad itch right on his nose and he can't scratch it for, like, 20 years. That's what I hope. Because he's a fucking piece of fucking garbage, dude. What a dick. Okay, more conservative assholes. Pat Robertson came out and said that drug addicts should starve to death. Very Christian of you, Mr. Robertson. Larry Whitmore said, "My nigga," to the president at the White House Correspondence dinner. That caused a bit of an uproar, and I can understand why. I mean, the thing is, you know, when two black people use that word, it's not really racist, you know, because it has a different meaning, but that, I think, is, you know, definitely bad taste. Okay, you don't say shit like that to the president. I mean, it doesn't matter what color you are, you know, he's the president of the United States, all right? I mean, and he must have known that. That's the thing, is that Larry Whitmore must have known that was going to cause, like, you know, a shitstorm. And I think that's probably why he said it, because he knew it was going to, like, you know, get him in the news and shit. And it's like, I don't know. I think that's just incredibly bad judgment. And whatever. Okay, let's move on to something a little more lighter. What else we got here? Let's see, the female Ghostbusters movie. I just don't care. I mean, I was gonna make a video about it, but I kind of thought about it and was like, do I really give a shit about the female Ghostbusters movie? No, not really. And you know how you know that it's gonna be disappointing, because all the controversy about the movie is, like, about everything except the actual movie. You know, like, every review I see, the people are not talking about if the movie's good or bad. They're talking about the controversy surrounding it, because they decided to make it all with women and, you know, and, like, feminism and shit like that. And it's like, you know, that's fucking dumb, dude. The movie should be judged on its own merits, you know. But am I personally going to go see it? Probably not. And the reason why I'm not going to see it is because it has no connection to the other Ghostbusters movies, right? So I would have gone. I really, here's my thing, is like, I like metafiction. You know, I like crossovers. I like it when there's shared universes of things and stuff like that. And I really don't like cold reboots where the entire thing is just rebooted completely. You know, so things like the RoboCop reboot, I didn't even bother to see that shit. In this Ghostbusters movie, if they just would have done a passing the torch kind of movie, you know, have, like, some of the surviving old Ghostbusters who are, like, old and shit, and establish a new team, and they just happen to all be women or something like that, I could get into that. But it's like, it seems to me like they're just, you know, when you just remake something just to remake it, even for a movie that's, like, not that old. Well, alright, I guess Ghostbusters is 30 years old. But still, it's just kind of like, you know, what's the point? You know, it's like you're just telling the exact same story over and over. I mean, you know, what's the point? You know, is it because this one has better special effects? Is that what it's going to be? Or is it because, what, you know, you're updating it for a modern audience or whatever? It just doesn't say anything to me. And I'm looking at it, and what it looks like is a cheap cash-in movie. That's what it looks like. It looks like, to me, they go, hey, we can make another Ghostbusters because everything that was popular in the 80s is making all kinds of money, you know, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Star Wars, shit like that. It's making all kinds of money, and all the middle-aged, you know, people have nostalgia dollars like me are going to go see it, so let's make a new Ghostbusters, but, you know, let's make it all chicks for some reason. Let's make it all out of women, you know, and that's like, it just seems to me like a blatant money grab that doesn't, do anything to advance the Ghostbusters mythos, and it has nothing to do with feminism for me. It's like, I could really give a shit, I mean, if they made it, I could care if they made it all out of, all of the people who started it were women, or if they were midgets, or if they were paraplegics, or if they were fucking, like, animated dogs. I really, or animated cats, or whatever. I really wouldn't give a shit. It's just more to me of like a ripoff. It's like a blatant sort of cash-in sort of, ripoff thing where they just think that I'll automatically go see something because it was like an 80s property, and it's like, no, I'm not going to go see it. Doesn't mean I'll never watch it, but I mean, when it comes on Netflix, I might watch it. So that's my thing. So all this bullshit about people saying, like, it's the fight over it, the misogynists versus feminists, and the fucking angry video game nerd decides not to see it, and everybody's calling him a misogynist and all this other crap, and it's like, I just don't give a shit about any of that at all. So next, last thing here, Captain America is a Hydra agent. And people are losing their minds over that, Marvel fandom. So if you don't know the story, there's Captain America, Steve Rogers, #1, and at the end he says, "Hail Hydra," and he like kills this guy or whatever. And people are like losing their minds, and on social media, and you're turning Captain America into a villain, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, it's a stunt, And I've said this before in prior videos. Everything in comics is a stunt. It's all a stunt in order to sell comics. They do this kind of thing all the time. Batman gets his back broke, Superman dies, Wolverine dies, Captain America died and then came back. For a little while, Captain America was a werewolf. I don't know if you guys remember that shit. Or that he was old for 3 years, and then Iron Man's a traitor, and then he's a teenage boy, and then he's like back again, and then he's evil, and then Spider-Man is Dr. Octopus, and Green Lantern turns into Parallax, and it's a stunt, because now everyone's gonna go buy it, which, I'm actually gonna go buy it later today because I want to read it, and it's a stunt to sell more comics, and as soon as the storyline's done, everything will be back to normal, and that's how it always works. And it's like, people just lose their minds over shit like this because they, I don't know why. I mean, it's happened over and over in the past. That's what makes comics cool, is that you can do shit like this. Like you can explore extreme story arcs. You can make Thor a girl, right? You can make Colossus the Juggernaut. You can kill Professor X and then give his brain to the Red Skull, which is why I think Captain America is is evil now. I think he's being brainwashed or whatever. I mean, you can do all kinds of crazy shit like that, and then a few years later, or 12, 15 issues later, everything's back to how it was, because that's how comics work, because it's all about, selling books. So, but it's working, because I'm gonna go buy it. Anyway, that's all for now. Adios.